Here we go. Again, here's some help for you guys on the quiz. This should help you with hopefully the rest of the quiz here. Again, we're working with logarithms and now we're applying them. So I came up with an example here. The information is pretty accurate. I just looked at the past 2 days, so that's where it came from. Don't go acting like I'm trying to say this is how it's actually going to go down. This is just off of the information that we have right now. But as of right now, California has about 31,000 people who have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. That amount I've found is growing at about, here, let me underline, is growing at about 7.2% per day. Now, stop right there. The first thing we're going to do is set up the equation. This is a two-part question just like it is on the quiz. I just added it all into one big equation. So, to set up just the original equation where we're using this, S of t equals S naught 1 plus p to the power of t. I know I said a lot, but again, this is very similar to the last example I just helped you guys out with. Everything that we've underlined is going to be able to fit right into this equation. That S naught, what it's called, is very similar to our principal. How much should we start out with? In this case, the amount we started out with was 31,000 people in California. So we don't know S of t yet. Equals, I'm going to say 31,000, because that's how many we have. And now we can fill in the rest, right? Now we're going to go, whoa, let me get back to black here, sorry. 1 plus that p right there, it stands for percentage. Right? Like what percent are we growing at? And our percentage is right there, 7.2%. But again, we don't just do 1 plus 0.72. We have to change that into a decimal. So you move the decimal point to the left 2 times. 1, 2. So we have 0.072. That's what's going to go inside 1 plus 0.072. We close off that parentheses and we go to the power of t. That's your equation, right? That's how you set it up. Now, using that equation, we can find even more information. Specifically, I added into this question, how many days, because we know it grows at 7.2% per day, supposedly, how many days will it take? So we're looking for how many days, which means we're looking for t. So that's what we're going to solve for. But how many days will it take for that amount who tested positive to reach 112,000 people? I chose that number because that's the population of Clovis right now. So now we're going to use this equation and we're going to be able to find about how many days it should take if we're growing at a rate of 7.2%. Now we've done most of the hard part. We already have our equation, S of t equals 31,000, 1 plus 0.072 to the power of t. Again, we're going to be solving for t, which means that 112,000, that's what we're going to plug in for this S of t right here. That's where we want to end up. So that 112,000 is our S of t. So 112,000. Now we're going to round this off to the 10th at the end, just like you guys need to on the quiz. But we're at a very similar point as we were on the last problem. We need to solve. So the smartest thing to do first is let's just add what we have in parentheses there. Right? We can leave all this 112,000, 31,000. 1 plus 0.072 is just 1.072 to the power of t. Now, just like we did on the last example, we got e by itself. But instead of e, we have 1.072. We're going to go through the same steps, though. We're going to divide both sides by 31,000. Make sure you have a calculator ready. 112,000 divided by 31,000. I'm doing all this on the calculator just like you guys. That gives us 3.6129. Let's just go 3.613 equals 1.072 to the power of t. So we've gotten it, whoops, we've gotten it to this point where um, we have it in exponential form. Now, just like we did in our other examples, we want to be able to work with this in logarithms. That's how we're going to be able to solve it. So we're going to convert this back into its log form, and it's not going to look pretty. So we're going to say log, our base is 1.072 of 3.613. I'm going to put that in parentheses to try to make it a little more neat, equals t. Now, if we had a calculator that was real fancy, we could probably just plug this in, but I don't. I just have my iPhone calculator, and there's no button in there where we can do log base 1.072. So now we're just going to use our properties of logs. What we know is we can rewrite this log base 1.072 of 3.613 as log of 3.613 divided by log of 1.072, which means now we can just plug each of those individually into our calculators. If you have the iPhone, flip that guy sideways, and you should see log base 10. That's the same thing as writing log with no base. Again, the numbers aren't going to be fantastic here, but I'm just going to go 3.613, hit that log base 10, and get 0.55786. So I'm just going to round that to 0.5579 divided by, do the same thing, 1.072, hit that log base 10, and we get 0.03, I'm going to say 2, equals t. And then the very last thing, just take both of those decimals and divide. So we're going to go 0.5579 divided by 0.0302. And we end up getting 18.47. Which, if we wanted to round that to the nearest tenth, 18.5 days. Which means if we have this virus, it's growing at a rate of 7.2% per day. For it to get to 100,000 people, 112,000 people, and we're only at 31,000, it's going to take about 18 days. Now, I don't know how true that is, depending on how the rate's going to change here. I just wanted to give you guys an example that's kind of relevant to what's going on. If you guys have any questions, again, please let me know.